We will start with active voice and passive voice. Now what is active voice and what is passive voice? For easy understanding, let's compare the following two sentences. The first one is Jack helps Jill, and the second one is Jill is helped by Jack. Both the sentences serve the same meaning, but in sentence 1, the form of verb shows that the person denoted by the subject, that is Jack, does something, whereas in sentence 2, the form of the verb shows that something is done to the person denoted by the subject. So this is a difference between active voice and passive voice. So for a clear explanation, here's the definition. A verb is in the active voice when its form shows, as in sentence 1, that the person or thing denoted by the subject does something, or in other words is the doer of the action. And a verb is in the passive voice when its form shows that something is done to the person or a thing denoted by the subject, as shown in sentence 2. So this is active voice and passive voice. So by now we come to know then what is voice. Voice is that form of the verb which shows whether what is denoted by the subject does something or has something done to it. Now there are some simple rules to learn how do we change a sentence from active voice into the passive voice. Some simple rules are there. Start with the first one. First, put the subject in place of the object or replace the subject with the object. Put the object in place of the subject. Add third form of the verb. Add the preposition by if necessary after the third form of the verb. The prepositions may change as per the sentences. The next is bring the helping verb before the third form of the verb. Some important move points. Place be before third form of the verb if will, shall or modal verbs are given in the active voice. Place being before the third form of the verb if continuous tense is given in the active voice. And place the being verb before the third form of the verb if present tense, if perfect tense is given in the active voice. We'll elaborate this with an example, and before that some more changes. The changes in pronouns which take place when a sentence is changed from an active voice to passive voice. We all know the pronouns are I, we, you, they, he, she, it. So how these personal pronouns are changed, I'll just give you a simple chart for it. This is the chart, and this, when the subject I is there in the active voice, when the sentence changes into passive voice, it changes into me. We changes into us. You remains as it is, that is you. They in the active voice changes to them in the passive voice. He changes to him. She changes to her, and it in the active voice remains again it in the passive voice. And the rules apply vice versa also. If me is in the active voice, then when it changes into passive voice, then I replaces it. Us changes into we, you remains as it is, them changes into they, him changes to he, her changes to she, and it remains as it is. And besides this, more changes. The changes which take place in the tense. If the ing form is there in the verb, then the being word, that is being, is used in the passive voice, and if in the active voice the third form is used, then in the passive voice the being verb is always used. And one more important point we have to remember is the helping verbs in the passive voice are as follows. If the sentence is in the present tense, is, am, are the helping verbs. In the past tense, was and were are the helping verbs, whereas in future tense, it's shall have or will have. I think now the things are clear, and we'll elaborate this with an example to check your understanding. Fine. The active passive voice with an example. I'll give a simple sentence in the active voice. The sentence: the teacher punished the students. So what will be the passive of this? The passive of this sentence will be the students were punished by the teacher. So now how this passive was made? The teacher is the subject over here. The teacher replaces the object in the passive voice. The object in the active voice, that is the students, replaces the subject in the passive voice. Punished is the verb. The third form of the verb again is punished. It remains as it is. As the students are plural, so the helping verb will be plural, that is verb. And the preposition by is used because the thing was done by something. So this is the way in which the active voice is changed into a passive voice. I think the things are clearer now, and a few more examples for practice. You take a simple one, something based on pronoun as well, how the pronouns are changed. I told him to come in time. So I is the pronoun over here. Him will change to he. I will change to me, and the sentence will now look like: he was told by me to come in time. This is the change in pronouns. One more example. We refused them permission to. So we is the subject in the active voice. So we changes to us. Them is the object in the active voice. Them changes to they. And now when the sentence is now changing from active voice into passive voice, the sentence will be: they were refused permission by us to play. They saw her dancing in the rain. They is the subject, her is the object. So her changes to she, they will change into them, and now the sentence will look like: she was seen dancing in the rain by them. I hope the things are now very much clear to you. So one sentence for your practice. He told her to study regularly. It's not only that he told her, it's that everybody should study regularly. Coming on to the sentence, he is the subject, her is the object, her changes into she and he will change into him. And the sentence in the passive will look like: she was told to study regularly by him. The teacher was punishing her. Maybe it's not that the teacher had the habit, but yes, the girl must have punished, the girl must have played some truant or must be mischievous like some of you. And the passive of this sentence will be: she was being punished by the teacher. One more sentence: she has completed his work. Now some of you might feel that she has completed his work is an incorrect sentence, it should be her work. But she has completed this his could relate to her friend, her brother or any other person but a male. And now the sentence will look like: his work has been completed by her, because his remains as it is and she in the active voice changes to her into the passive voice.